Skeksis.
Hogarth.
Professor.
It's difficult.
Blown away. You need the make Skeksis. Chaos. Do I? Dream Master's out to be this. What's going on? Better not come back to anybody. Hedgehog! Get back to the cops. Going on? Come in. You know, what can I say? No way back. Cops. Going on? You're almost out of back to anybody. Hedgehog! Get back to the pyramid. Going on? You know, what can I say? The one and only, the ultimate. Grant you one. It all starts with this. A jewel contained in the center of the ultimate. There's no super. You gotta go now. Maria, my master.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another DaraChat. That's right, Mr. D's in the house. But anyway, I'm never gonna live that one down. But anyway, I get to have back on once again the Hausmeister. Yeah, he's going to pump you up.
The Italian German guy.
The Italian German guy. Well, you know, I don't know about Italian, but I mean. I don't know. Maybe the German, but Italian. I mean, the name the name's very Germanic, so that makes sense. But like Italian, I'm not sure. What was the blue on that pogo pizza? Oh, the what did Pizza John say? I think he said it was sort of like a food coloring Parmesan cheese, like a blue food coloring Parmesan cheese. So it was, you know, they did use food coloring that you would use in regular food, but it was sort of like it made this Parmesan cheese look blue. I think I believe that's what he said, but it's been a while. So it's been a long while since that episode happened. But I earned it, and I am glad I have it done because Pogo deserves the credit for all the stuff he does, even if he no longer makes stuff. So, but anyway, good sir, thank you for coming back on.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to be here. That was a wild intro, I got to tell you.
Yeah, that one is called Gotta Go Now. That's actually by someone different. That's name is Smuffy, who's also Australian, because Pogo's Australian, but this one is named Smuffy, and he too, I believe, sometime last year stopped making stuff as well. So at least I got to be there for that. But this is one of his many one of his few I use, but I enjoy it because, you know, Sonic 2, right? Sonic Adventure 2, blue cheese. Oh goodness. Goodness sake, it's the mouth who dares show. No, hey, calm yourself. But I mean, you, I remember you were on quite a while ago, but you went off to do your own thing. That was pretty similar.
Yeah, kinda. I'm still kind of working on the concept.
Mm.
I'll tell you, I like your format, the different guests. It's really hard to find someone consistent who wants to, you know, who you share a vision with.
Yeah.
So I've kind of thrown in the towel on that for now. I just do a weekly show and occasional streams.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a weekly show in theory.
We call it bi-weekly or monthly weekly, if you want. Oh man, but I understand. It's been one of those weird things where, like, I hear other content creators, you know, who invite other people on their shows, like, oh, well, it's been so difficult and it's hard. And it's like, really? I mean, I've had my moments. Sure, I'm not saying it's not, it's easy, but I'm still surprising myself. Like, I've just passed like the 365 mark, of guests, and that's not including like multiple times that someone has been on. And they get their own
Yep.
counter after the first time. But like, 365 people. I mean, albeit some have blocked me, so I don't know. Stuff happens, but it's been this weird sort of thing to kind of hear other creators say that, and it's just like, really?
Well,
What?
I think a big part of it is because, like, I initially met you, you were very forward, and you were like, "Hey, would you like to come on?" I'm not like that.
Mm,
I need to be in. I'm like a vampire. You got to invite me in. I'm not going to invite myself in. So I think that may be part of my issue.
hmm
Um, but we make the best of it. We have fun. That's all you
Yeah,
can do.
yeah, yeah. If you don't enjoy doing it, then no amount of person coming on is going to help you get you there. Unfortunately.
Exactly.
Um, but I don't know if I'd say I'm forward. I'd just ask. Like, it's not like
Oh,
come on now or something like that.
no, I didn't mean it like that, but you were just, "Hey, would you like to come on?"
Yeah.
I guess I never had that problem with the ladies, so I guess I have it with this, where I won't ask because I don't want to be rejected.
Right. That's understandable. I think that's a big proponent. But like, and good for you on the ladies' part. That's not something every guy can say. Uh,
What's the worst they're gonna say? No.
yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. What's the worst they're gonna say? No.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think the big proponent is that even if one person says no, you've got like a dozen other people that are out there ready. Like, sure, okay, I admit, like sometimes people go, they ask deeper questions like, what is the show? What are the topics and stuff? And I'm like, there are no topics.
Mm-hmm.
We just talk about whatever comes our way, and that's, I mean, it's a simple idea to get, but sometimes people don't because they're on that sort of interview format, or they're used to like what they see other content creators do. They're like this, I don't know what you call it. It's just like they talk about certain topics, right? Talk about entertainment or music or whatever. They talk about a certain, you know,
Politics.
politics, gaming, all that stuff. They talk about certain things, and like I can, but like I can meander, I can wander, I can go over here to the candy store. It's like there's a roller coaster over there. I mean, it's wild, right? Um,
Well, I mean, that kind of gets into the whole the niche thing that's really big on social media, where you're supposed to stay within your niche, which, I mean, is great that you don't, but a lot of people have that mindset, and it
yeah,
kind of adds to the filter bubble that people experience. They don't know people outside of their own interests, and it's kind of making people not grow, unfortunately. So
but
I'm a big fan of what you do.
well, thank you.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say people who stay in their niches don't grow. I mean, they'll throw out their follower count and all that stuff. Like, they show growth, but like in the essence of perspectives, I would agree. I've come across some people that do something similar to what I do, but usually they end up either with the same type of people, or not,
Yeah.
I don't want to say type of people, but just like the same group of people, right? They have a circle, they know they can be there and stuff.
Well, that's the filter bubble. When I say grow, I don't mean like follower counts or whatever. I'm talking they don't grow as people. People don't have well-rounded opinions.
Mm,
That's how people can two different ideologies can look at the same thing, the exact
mm.
same thing, and
Oh
have
yeah.
two completely, and it's the same reality. We all see
Oh
the
yeah.
same green grass and blue sky, but
Yeah.
you can't variate from that. And by the way,
Yeah.
Alaska man, I can have more than one biggest fan. I'm okay with that.
Right. How to be house as big as
Uh-huh.
I said if there's money involved, though, then you're really his biggest fan. Oh man, that's too funny. But no, it's when I in the beginning started doing it, I had that imagery of like everyone's in their dome, isn't it? Like you said, the
Mhm.
bubble or whatever. And well, to the regard of everyone is not correct because there are some people who do kind of break out. I do believe a majority of people are in their dome, their area where they're just kind of on their thing that works for them, right? Like some things it just works. But for me, it's like you've got people, you got content creators who have a bunch of followers and 10,000, 50,000, whatever the number to be. And it's like, if you were to invite like a quarter, even just like 100 of the 5,000 you have, like that's tremendous potential right there. Like that was just crazy to me. It's like, I know, again, as doing this, I'm not alone as I was in the regard, but in the magnitude of how many guests I've had on, it feels like, other than Joe Rogan, all right, let's be honest, Joe Rogan has had more guests than I've ever had on, but I'm not trying to compare myself to that. As an example.
Mhm.
But to the regard of like for how many guests I've had on, it's like it usually takes them a year or so or more just to even get to that amount. And it's like it's not being pretentious here or whatever. I'm just showcasing that in the regard of what I do versus what everyone else does. There's this I don't know. I would say a gap, but that I don't want to be presumptuous of that regard, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, Jeff has a real good point here about keeping your circle small. There's a
Mm.
lot of nonsense. A lot of children get on the internet, even if they're in their
Yeah, of course.
20s. You know,
Are you trying to say something else? Are you really trying?
oh, not about you, not about you.
No, I was trying to say about yourself.
Well,
I was trying to say, are you saying that about yourself?
how many bald sixth graders you know? One. Me.
Well, let's not get into that right now.
But no, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but as far as like the free exchange of ideas is not very healthy right now because nobody is willing to budge. I think there's a lot of debates that go on. You'll see them on, but nobody is there to have their mind changed. They are there to spit what they want to say, and that is all it's about. I don't care for that. So I want to have fun. I want to make the internet fun again. And for me, fun is not trolling, which it is for a lot of people.
True.
For me, fun is engaging with people who I might disagree with on politics, but I might agree with on something else.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's why I'm having trouble finding a co-host. I got off in the weeds with that one.
Yeah, it's well, thank you, much appreciated. And even then, it's like as a host, because that's technically what I am. I've been called more because it was once had someone on saying, I do this, this, and this. Oh, well, you're a producer. Really? Because I set up the schedule, I do all, I do all that stuff, like do the shorts and whatnot, and usually they hire people out. I'm like, what do I look like? I'm made of money?
Mm-hmm.
No. Being a guest is about trolling? Well, at least that does apply to those in chat. And muted. No.
No. I mean, listen, I'll troll with the best of them, but that's not my entire online. That's not the reason I go online.
Sure.
If I see someone say something foolish, I might point it out or I might make, but that's not what I'm there for.
Right.
So, I don't know. I think we're in a weird time, and after 2028, it'll be really interesting to see where the discussion goes because it's been dominated by one thing for the last 10 years. We're not going to get into it, but it's been one thing for the last 10 years, and that's going to be going away. Yeah.
Yeah. You can say Trump.
I can, yeah. I chose not to, but
I'll say it.
Yeah. China. But I mean, are we going to go back to the way it used to be, or is it going to get even worse? Are we going to get even more cartoonish people?
that's a mystery of the future, isn't it? Nothing's really written in stone unless you get someone who's very, hey, Half Pine, what up? Nice to see
What's
you,
up,
good
brother?
sir. That's the interesting point, because this has always been something that gets me, that I I understand on the regard of, but don't understand the retrospect of it. It's where people say they want to get back to normal, right? We want to, after the COVID stuff, it was, we want to get back to normal. But the problem of it is what is normal though? Because my perspective is that normal is basically just continuing a status quo for a period of time, and then something abrupts it, and people want to get back to that because it was just like nothing happened, nothing was changed, at least nothing big was changed in regard of like daily life and all that stuff. Personal lives, it's a different story, but like, all that jazz of government and all that, the political end. But the problem with that is like, life itself is not normal in the regard that we think of it, right? Like, we're, for us, we're breathing, we're walking around, we're doing all these things that would, to some regard probably seem impossible or ridiculous, right? And yet normal is just, for me, is just a step in an area where it's like everything was like the 90s, right? People are like, oh man, I wish I could go back to the 90s. That's nice, no, but like the 90s eventually had to evolve to the next stage, which was the millennia, right?
Mhm.
2000 up to like, what was it, 2010, I think it is, before
Yeah.
that's discontinued of millennia. But like, even then, like, what was it, like Y2K, during that time period, people were so worried about, and it's understandable, right? It's understandable. But like, what came out of it though? Not very much. Just worry,
Well, yeah.
right?
I mean, we tend to remember the past a little bit more fondly than we probably should. I,
Correct.
like, you don't think about all the times that you had, you know, a test you were stressing over, or you had to go to bed
No.
on time, or anything like that. We're so used to the modern conveniences that we have, that if you had to go back to a Windows 95 computer running AOL on dial up and having to type keywords into AOL, do you remember that? AOL keyword, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This is before Messenger, I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You have mail, that era.
Yeah. You got mail.
Yeah,
Spot on. I tried to be spot on. But Half Pine has a good one. I have survived like 8 or 9 end of the worlds. Yeah. Yeah.
uh-huh.
Y2K was one. Uh, COVID was one. 9/11 was one.
December
Like,
21st, 2012. Remember that? The end of the Mayan calendar?
oh yeah, I remember that. That was like, sure, but like, even then, we're trying to decode a past. We don't have the actual people to help us decode it, so we're basically guesstimating based upon the other surroundings that we have, in the archaeology and all that stuff. It really is something of like, I think, but people to put too much into it, but I think in some small way people are primed for that end of the world sort of thing, like, oh,
Uh-huh.
here it comes, the fear basis of it. But that's like, I don't know, then you go back to that stasis of, like I was saying, normal, right? COVID came, and then everyone's like, I want to get back, pretty much almost everyone was saying, I want to get back to normal. It's like, but what of, right? For me, it doesn't make sense. I understand a degree of it, but I don't understand beyond the scope of that, because to me, normal doesn't really mean anything. It just
Yeah.
means I'd like to go back to the time where I had little to no disturbance, and life was all right. I'm just like,
So,
but that,
well, I was just going to say,
yeah,
normal is how you perceive the world. So your normal is different than my normal. And you mentioned COVID, and there's still some people who are living in 2020. They're still in the lockdown. They're wearing masks and social
yeah.
distancing. And what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? Like, you have no quality of life. And at this point, like, look at Howard Stern. Are you a radio guy? Do you listen to the radio at all?
I mean, I listen to when I go to work, sure, yeah, but not all the time.
Okay. So he, up until last year, was still up on his boosters and he wasn't going into public. And he got COVID for the first time in 2025.
Wow.
Isn't that's insane? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and he survived it, and now he's kind of normal. But
Mm.
what is the point of living if all you're doing is sheltering down? We're fascinated with how it's going to end to the
Mm-hmm.
point that we spend the finite amount of time that we have trying to predict when it's going to end instead of living now. I mean, I don't want to sound like a sappy motivational poster, but you have to live in the now. You know,
Right. You put on a tie and you'll be there.
I have met people who will say they
uh,
don't know how, they don't want to know how they're going to die, but
yeah.
they're fascinated with the end of the world prophecies. What are you doing? Pick one, pick a lane and stay in it.
Yeah. So sappy. Yeah, yeah, sure. So sappy like sap. But no,
Like,
you're not wrong. It is that weird fascination of like how is it going to end when you have right now? Right? How many movies are out there like Deep Impact or um,
2012.
2012 or all those movies of Armageddon and Apocalypse and all that stuff. And like I get the fascination, but it almost feels like it's a form of detriment in just being able to live. Like there's many forms of it, but that's like one form of it, right? Like apocalypse movies or whatever. And I mean it's
Mm-hmm.
sure good form of entertainment. I'm not gonna lie about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um but when you get past that point, what is it? It's just someone. It's like the what is it? That doomsday clock. Like what is the doomsday clock? What is it for?
You're talking about the nuclear clock, the
Well,
one.
they always have like the thing where they and it's like this like 2D panel got the like the little hand they move like it's been moved 30 seconds. I'm like what does that mean?
It, well, do you remember the terror system after 9/11? The colors, there was heightened alert
Oh,
was like orange, red,
Defcon, yeah, yeah,
all these silly different colors that they come on the news and tell you. And they have us so distracted and so wound up about so many different things. No matter
yeah.
what you're into, what your political bent is, they have you so distracted that people forget to just live their lives, which to me is insane.
Yeah.
And I see Half Pine mentioned 6606,
Yeah.
and I remember that day. I've been trying to remember the radio show I was listening to. It was syndicated. It was a national radio show, but they
Yeah.
called the mayor of Hell, Michigan, and
Oh, wow.
they kept asking him like, "What are your plans for today?" And the guy had no clue. It was so funny, and I've been looking for it for years. It was hilarious. But that was
That's
another
crazy.
thing. They
Yeah.
re-released The Omen on that day.
Wow.
Um, people act like the numbers that we came up with and money and time, like these things actually matter. I mean, they do. If you don't show up to work on time, you don't get money and you can't pay your bills. But in the grand scheme of things, if there was no society, these things wouldn't matter at all. We would go back to natural circadian rhythms, sleeping at night, being awake during the
Mhm.
day, that kind of stuff. I got way too deep, way too fast.
That's what this show's all about. Half Pine says, "Dude, I just want zombies so I can start popping melons. Is that too much to ask?" Yeah, popping melons. You can pop melons right now. Just take them as target practice. Oh, that's too funny. But yeah, it's a very weird, and that's why the perspective point, at least from my end, is so important, is because you don't you don't. I mean, I'm not saying that people within the bubble can't have at least some different idea, but when you can get out of it and get past that sort of fear of like sharing different thoughts, whatever. Like I've had people who are, they come on and either they're nervous or whatever, and they're difficult. They're challenging in getting a conversation out or to get onto a conversation because they might have their own mindset. Oh, what does this guy want, or what is he trying to get out of me, or whatever. And just it's it's one of those things that I take upon that challenge because if you don't, then you as a person don't sort of grow. Like you were talking about how like you're not, you'd rather be asked on than asking people on because you're less forward and more so like behind the scenes sort of thing. And I get that. I can understand that. However, if you don't take the road that will at least get you out of that zone of asking, right? And rejection is such a difficult thing because once you reject, you're like, well, that's it then. I don't know what I can do. But I think that's the most important thing is because it almost feels like you start building a resilience. There we go. Resilience to that faction where like one person says, no, not for me. Thank you though. And you're like, all right. Yeah, you've got like 5 other people lined up and all that stuff. You're like, well, all right, let's go on to the next person. Because, and I don't want people looking at it as a mean thing. It's more of just like, well, you said no. I'm just gonna try someone else and see where it goes. It's not a mean thing. It's sort of like it is almost like a numbers game, basically. Um, and I'm not perfect at it. Far from it, right?
Well, I
I'm
mean,
not gonna,
you miss every shot you don't take.
it's true,
And I've missed a ton of shots. But
especially if I blindfold myself. It's just like,
yeah. But I mean, that's a true story. But
yeah.
I got a lot of stuff to say,
Mm-hmm.
and there's probably 3 or 4 people in the world that want to hear it, but nobody will hear it if I keep it to myself.
True, very true, and smart. And that's where look. There's a downside and upside to this content creator thing. I've learned one too many things where I'm very. I don't. I. You know how they say, you should don't give people power to people who want it. Give it to power to people who don't want it. I'm
Yeah,
sort of
but
in that.
go ahead.
I sort of am in that feeling of like, oh, I'm a content creator because I do, in a way, create content, but I don't like that regard because of what comes with it. And there's a good and there's a bad side to it, and I am tired of the status quo of what is considered a content creator because I could give a shite all about it because it doesn't mean anything to me after a while. You know what means more to me? It means people like you and everyone else rather than the followers, the how much money I made, the script, all this stuff. It just you make a business out of it. I get it. If you don't make a business out of it, it just becomes I don't know. It feels like a pointless endeavor in the regard of throwing those things out there. And again, don't take what I say to heart. You can ignore me. That's fine. It's just my perspective laid out there.
So, from what I've seen, the people who set out to make money doing this
Mm-hmm.
tend not to. It's the people who do it because they enjoy it. I think genuinely enjoying it, learning how to do it, growing it organically works way better than just focusing on numbers and charts, and it becomes a job. And then you start to say, wait a minute, I wouldn't go to my 9 to 5 job and work for a nickel an hour. Why am I doing this when I have a family and there's stuff to do outside, or I can watch a movie or play a video game? And people get burned out. I can tell you from experience, the amount of money I have made on social media is humiliating for the amount of time that I've put into it.
Yeah.
But the people I've met, the actual genuine connections that I have are what makes it worthwhile. And if I had my way, that would be how I would explain it to people. That's what you need to focus on, not trying to. The word grift gets thrown around a lot. And I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of people don't know what it means.
Mm.
Grifting is promising one thing and giving another. Scamming.
That. Oh, bait and switch. Bait and
Yeah,
switch
yeah.
is a.
It specifically means that. It doesn't just mean that you're online trying to make money.
Mm.
Um, and that's kind of that's a nitpick thing.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people struggle because they feel like they're not interesting. But everyone has a story. Everyone has something to contribute. Everyone has been somewhere or done something or can cook something
Yeah.
or can make something.
Yeah.
You know, I for
That.
instance, have tons of ridiculous stories
Mm.
that are huge hits that when I tell them in real life, and it's hard to translate that to the internet. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Yeah.
So,
It's but that regard is the high one because I've also seen that too where people I've met people who are who don't in a DM they'll be like I don't think I have anything interesting. It's like that's the point. We can find that out together. Right? There's no like you said there's there's nothing you can there's a lot of things to talk about in many different ways and forms, and to limit yourself in thinking that you don't have something of interesting to say is a limiter, and a limiter keeps you from seeing that yes you do in some regard, even if you don't believe it, there is something there that can show itself through a conversation, right? That's why you have it, is to find. It's like it's a trail, probably already blazed, but you never know what those side pocket roads are. Like
mhm.
like a make your own adventure, right? There's a turn left. You may end up in a crossroads or something like that. Something similar, but it's very weird from my perspective where people feel like they have nothing of interest to say, and I'm like, let me prove you wrong.
Mhm. Well,
You're about to find out how wrong you are.
the thing is people get into it and they want to compare themselves to the people who are making, ridiculous, stupid money, and that
Mm,
that doesn't come overnight, and it's not for everyone. Not everyone has that ability.
mm,
Not everybody can dunk a ball like Jordan.
it's true. But he tried to play baseball, and that didn't work out very well. Uh,
Well,
unless man, Jeff. Wait a minute. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say he wasn't a generational baseball talent, but he was good. But he was Michael
Yeah,
Jordan,
yeah.
like under a different name. Now, I mean, I don't know how old you are, and you don't have to tell me, but when I was a
Mm,
kid, there was Bo Jackson and there was Deion Sanders, who both played football and baseball.
mm,
And nobody since has done that.
mm.
I don't think a lot of people remember Deion Sanders played baseball.
I feel like I've heard. I feel like I've heard that name before, but I'm not sure where I heard it from.
He
But it
was
could. It,
he was a football player. He was on the 49ers, the Cowboys, Super
mm,
Bowl teams.
mm,
His son just got drafted to the Cleveland Browns. So, I mean, it's kind of fallen off a bit, but
mm.
he was a very flamboyant player in the 90s. And he was well known as a football player, but he also played professional baseball.
Wow, that's not
Yeah.
bad. That's pretty awesome in the regard of. And Rebels Scum says I stream for fun. I have met a couple people that will sabotage your channel because they be jelly of the fun you're having. Yeah, there's this trolling factor, which to be honest is a there is a like I've trolled in the sense like a positive troll, like I would stop by a stream and just I threw money at them, just kind of interrupt their show because it was just funny to do. So there's
Mhm.
that, but like the negative aspect, like I don't care because I get why people do. It's like, oh, you gotta humble somebody or whatever. And it's like you can really humble somebody by just using their own words against them, because nothing humbles you more than having your own words used against you. So the funny thing is when you finally realize like that, it's like, oh shoot,
Well,
I am the a-hole.
you don't have to humble anyone. You
Mhm,
could
right,
just leave
right,
them alone and let the universe
right.
take care
Yeah.
And some people want the negative energy. But as far as what Rebel Scum was saying, oh yeah, there's I don't know how many of you guys are on Twitter or X as they call it now. But
Yeah.
there are people now on there that make it their business to ruin other people's accounts just because it's the thing to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. It's
Um,
entertainment for them.
it's the kid that, you know, when you'd have a pizza party at school, he'd mess it up so they wouldn't have him anymore. That kid, you
Yeah.
know. But it's the internet, so that kid could be 10 different people and you wouldn't know it.
Yeah. Yeah. That is. Yeah, I could see that. Or yeah, it's like the saying: it only takes one to ruin it for the rest. And that one kid. That one kid. Half Pint says, I've made my money back for all the material investments I've made into streaming. I've paid my laptop and cameras and all my gear and subscriptions. That to me is a win. Since the part-time part would have been done anyway, I was going to be in the forge no matter what. Why not do it on camera? It's true. Right, I think that's the same sort of thought that's going around, like when people play games, right? They say, "Well, I was going to play a game anyway. I might as why not just show it on online?" Or I was going to rebuild this car anyway. Why not show me rebuilding that car on camera?
Well, and
It's the
the
same thought.
nice thing is the advantage to that is you can build a community that'll come into your chat. You can talk to
Mm-hmm.
people while if you're rebuilding a car, you have people to talk to, and someone
Mm-hmm.
might learn something.
Mm-hmm.
You might enrich someone's life or inspire someone to go do something. I sound
Yeah.
like Tony Robbins, and I'm not aiming to. I'm just looking at the positive of doing that.
I think, yeah, I think positive thinking is a lot better than negative because it can go a lot of different ways, and this world is already full enough anyway. But sorry, you're gonna say something.
Oh, I lost it. But you know, I
Felt.
mean, I play video games. I'm not good at them, and I'm not like
Mm.
Dark Side Phil bad, so it's not entertaining to watch me. Like I won't smash a controller. I'm not Wings of Redemption. I'll just get bored
Mhm.
and go do something else. Like I'll be like, all right, I'm over this, and that doesn't
Yeah,
bode well for streaming.
yeah,
Um, but I can carry a conversation. The more I know someone, the more I can talk to them. You kind of get to know people as you talk to them more and more,
mhm,
and you know, I think there's something there. Talk radio was big in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. It's died
yeah,
off because of the internet. Everything now
yeah,
has to be a video podcast and, you know, clips and everything. And the art of just sitting in a room and coming up with a ridiculous idea that's hilarious is kind of dying off, if you ask me.
mm. Because because everything it seems like to a high regard, and mostly with like bigger channels, or at least bigger than me, is the breakdown of you do a stream and then you take shorts from the stream to show highlights, which I get. I
Mm-hmm.
think shorts in a way has a positivity there because it can, because of the attention span thing, it can direct people to like, and if you leave a link in there, it'll direct people to that stream and they can see the fuller context or more from that regard. um but yeah, it does seem like it's like taking a, let's see, it's like taking a big meal and then chopping it into the meal of the week, right? Each day gets a meal, and that's even refining that into like uh, breakfast, lunch, dinner, that sort of thing. Like you just chopping up finer and finer, and it becomes this sort of thing of like the full intent, just kind of like, maybe people will see the full intent or they'll just stick to that smaller form. So it's a very difficult act in that regard of content creation, which like I have plenty of shorts to post. I tend to forget to post them.
Yeah. So every time we rap on the Post
Mm,
Republic, I use StreamYard, so I generate as many clips as I can, and they're all sitting on my hard drive
mm,
because where do you post them? Honestly,
just a bunch of There's a bunch of places, to be honest. It just depends on how much time you're willing to put into it, because it is another thing too. It is a time sink, basically. Even though it's a short time sink, like it probably takes me a minute or so just to, well, depending how long the video takes to upload. From there, then it takes probably a minute or two to get it through the description and all that stuff. And YouTube, it probably takes a little longer because they have to do the whole copyright check over thing and all that. So it depends, but like for the most part, 5-10 minutes maybe for uploading a short and then putting in all the stuff you need to.
Well, I will say one nice thing about my journey in content creation is, do you know that I know the #1 blacksmithing channel on Rumble? I know the host of it. I've hosted shows with
So
him.
do I. Yeah, I've had him on too.
Yeah, he's a good egg.
And he's a good egg, but he could be a bit of trouble sometimes. And I'm not gonna say what kind of trouble. The nicheness of my content has been kind to me. I am now the #1 most popular blacksmithing channel on Rumble. There you go. Look at that. We just called him out. Blacksmithing #1 blacksmither in chat right here on Rumble. There you go. There you go.
I was scrambling to try to get that out before you put that up on the screen. I was like, I got to get that out because it's funny. But yeah, no, I mean, but he has a skill that not a lot of people have, and that's going to draw people in. I think the focus should be doing more stuff like that. You know, providing value, whatever the value may be. And I think a lot of the content creators that are coming up, the younger generation, are all kick live streamers. I'm going to go out and hassle people. I'm going to be what's that kid's name? Jack
Doherty?
Jack Doherty. And I'm going to wreck my McLaren, and I'm just going to go around and be a piece of trash, and hopefully someone assaults me and I get a clip out of it.
Yeah.
You know.
Doesn't make sense. It's Rumble needs a stuff maker category, hands-on or whatever. Yeah, they definitely need a hands-on category. That won't be taken wrong anytime soon.
Yeah. I'll tell you what a category I could fit into is either messing things up or getting flustered. So, but I wouldn't know how to film it. But if something comes up and I don't know how to do it, oh my God, it's like a cartoon. I'm freaking out. I'm running all over the place. I got 3 tabs open on 3 different devices trying to figure it out. But there's no way to film that. But I could be #1 in that.
Yeah, Mr. Flustered over there. This time on Mr. Flustered. But yeah, it's I'm just not a niche chaser. I just found this thing that was like, I don't see anyone else doing it, and then I followed it. I followed where it went, and where it started as sporadic, now is this sort of almost daily thing. And again, like I said, I still surprise myself on who says yes. A majority of my communication is through Twitter X, but like that has its own issues and all that stuff. But at the end of it, I don't know. To still be surprised by it in some way or fashion is the bonus in itself. But to each their own, right?
Well, I have discovered above all else, the #1 thing is consistency. Just show up and be consistent. Let the algorithm know you're going to be there every day at the same time. You know, but then you're playing a game. I don't want to play a game. If I have a funny thought, I want to say it and share it with people. If I have an insight, I want to share it. And if I don't want to force it. And unfortunately, far too much of, especially text-based social media is people forcing thoughts. You know, think about when Wendy's Twitter first became really funny, and then all of the fast food companies were competing to try to be funny, and it got really old really fast. That's kind of where a lot of things are. So you'll see the little siren with breaking, with news from 3 days ago, or the same story repackaged over, and then I already read this. Why am I reading it again? There's
Yeah,
only.
or you get
Go ahead.
yeah. No, I was just about to say you see something from like a few years ago as well, just popping up as news. Like, no, that was from a few years ago. I don't know what you're trying to do.
Oh yeah, they'll repurpose videos, and now with AI, there's a whole new wrinkle to it. That they're going to, I think, in the election and the midterms, they'll go after it pretty aggressively, making AI of people saying and doing things they didn't do or say. But it's kind of one of those things where if people see it before the note gets on it, they're going to believe it. There's still people. There are still people who say the Hunter Biden laptop story was fake, even though it's been 100% confirmed. So, yeah, burn the AI. Someone pointed out something today I can't believe I didn't think of. If AI requires so much stuff to cool it down, why aren't they building it in Alaska instead of Georgia and Tennessee and Arizona and Nevada? It runs on the internet.
Right, but there's a distance factor. I do know that, or it could be just a land factor, what have you. No, don't you dare. He says, no, don't you dare.
Yeah.
Ooh. But I mean, then I'd be like, well, why not just build it in Antarctica? Like you have natural cooling there. But I think there's a, I don't know. I think there might be a land issue or water,
actually,
whatever. But I think
Alaska man he's right, because I watched a video on houses in Siberia, and what'll happen is it'll heat up and it'll melt the permafrost, and then it cools down, and so yeah, okay, you're right. I thought I had something. Thanks for ruining all my fun, Alaska man.
And House goes in the corner to cry, and everyone said, well, there you go. I am in northern BC, and I don't want that crap here. BC, what northern BC? What is
British Columbia?
British Columbia. British Columbia. Yeah, that's what it got me. I was like, northern BC is like northern before Christ. What is this? Oh man. Guy, you know what? You just keep your elk up there, okay? Keep your elk up there.
So here's the thing, and I get it, but it doesn't matter where you put the data center because it's connected to the internet. So you're not going to keep it away from you. And I can't believe we were all raised with Terminator and Skynet, and we thought that when AI came, it would take over the military. And realistically, all it does is make the vice president fat and 6-second clips that you don't even pay attention to. You just scroll by. For the most part, because people aren't creative with them. 99, some people are. Most people are not. Most people just throw something together just to put something out.
Yeah. I've seen the creative side, and I've just seen like when the whole Sasquatch videos came out, right? Or the Stormtrooper ones. They're funny though. Those were funny. But yeah, it's just with your regard, it's just like there are some very creative people who use it and continue to use it, whether it be the movie faction, the video type faction, or the generative art faction. But much of the other part is also just spewing it out, basically, right? Like it's the first thing you take. It's like it's good enough, and then you just toss it out there. But I was talking to Jay Hoster yesterday. It's like sometimes it takes like 100 generations before you get it just right, and so there are those people that are, they're doing that much in order to get the right thing. And yeah, it takes a lot. But then again, like how many revisions of a book does someone go through before it's finally published? Right? How many drafts of a manuscript? Does someone go through boards finally the final like how many drafts of the Constitution was there before the Constitution was the Constitution, right?
So it comes down to this: you can put out a subpar product,
Hmm.
and that's what most people will do. That's
Hmm.
why there are thousands of independent music labels with songs you've never heard.
Right.
And well, I guess I'm not really making an argument that the mainstream music is better, but
Hmm.
then you'll get a band that builds their own buzz and gets big on their own.
Yeah.
You know, they put in the work, they tour, they build a fan base. Doesn't happen as much
Mhm.
anymore, but you know, everything is you get what you put in.
Yeah.
You know, and some people have talent. I'm not a big AI guy, but there are people who understand how to prompt and how to make it do things that are, you know, they're not amazing.
Hmm.
They're enjoyable to watch. You know, there are accounts on Twitter that really do amazing things with AI.
Yeah.
So
It's incredible when you do get those pieces. Like again, like when the first Sasquatch video came out. I don't know if it was on TikTok first before it came to Twitter X or something, but like when it first came out, I was like, that's hilarious.
hmm
I need to get my zins.
so, but it's like anything. If you hand me
Mhm.
a chisel and a hammer and give me a block of marble, you're going to get a bunch of little pieces of marble. If you give it to a
Mhm.
sculptor, you'll get a sculpture. You understand? So it's the
I don't
knowledge and the understanding of how to use the tool.
I don't know. You probably could make a very good pole out of marble. You're just like so easy to make right there.
Yeah, what would happen is I'd have one that was about this big, and I'd say, "Yeah, I was making a basketball."
Oh wow.
You know, I don't have dexterity. I don't have the kind of. We got to get half pint on that. Get him on that.
Yeah, yeah. Half pint, get on it. You're gonna need a big ball of marble, and it needs to look like a basketball per House's orders.
Yeah, yeah. He could probably
House,
do it.
yeah, yeah, he wants a marble basketball. So whatever it costs, just
Yeah.
you'll figure it out.
Oh, that'd be a hell of a
Team,
bowling ball.
yeah, it'll probably break too. Team Anti-A grows stronger every day. Soon we'll take over the works. I feel like the sentiment is in the middle somewhere with that regard. Like there are people for and against, and I get that. But I also feel like there are things that people who there's unsaid things between both parties
hmm
to themselves and to each other. Like there's unsaid words between people, and well, I can take like what was it, the whole graduation thing where they booed when an AI was used or whatever. I can take that and say at face value and say, oh well, they're all anti-AI. Well, how well do you know each and every one of those people that booed and walked out? Are you sure they're not using AI at all?
Well, at this point, it's integrated so far. And here's an interesting thing I kind of want to get your take on. Is a lot of
Mhm.
people are like, oh well, we have to stop AI from being in the movies and music, and I'm like, no, I'd actually prefer AI there and not have it running businesses. So
Mm,
putting people who you know, put files and stuff like that, people who deal with clerical work. I'd rather have that
mm,
be a person and have there be no celebrities. That is a spicy take that I may be alone
mm.
in.
Yeah, I would
But
think there needs to be a form of oversight if it's going to be on that side of like numbers and business and stuff. You want a form of oversight
well,
if
it's
you're gonna,
already
because
there.
well, right. I would just think that hopefully there's a form of oversight because you want um, the tool can help speed things up, which is a monumentous thing. You see those videos out there, the AI videos, where it could have taken people hours to days to make something, or months in that regard, and now it just takes them maybe a few days, maybe a day. Who knows? It depends on like what the ask is to each AI video thing, and like what's the cost and all that stuff, because some you have to pay and whatnot. So um, yeah, it's very interesting, but I can understand, and I would hope there's a form of oversight, because it's sort of like those restaurants or fast food places that want to run on full AI, but you
Mm.
know something's going to happen. You can't leave it alone, right? It's just one of those things that still want some form of oversight, rather than just like, nope, nobody's there 100% of the time. No, you need somebody there, because if something happens, like a break-in or whatever, you need somebody, you need
Hmm.
something.
Well,
So
there's AI is already hallucinating and giving out bad information. And there's another thing. So AI cites internet sources, right? And this is happening already where
mm,
one AI will say something and then another AI will quote it and then another
mm,
AI will quote it, and they're making up incorrect information and then quoting each other on it.
mm.
And we don't write things down physically anymore. I mean, we haven't in 20 years, but eventually what will happen to our history? People they already aren't learning it. Made abundantly clear by people who think we live in a democracy.
Mm,
We live in a republic. There is a distinction. So
mm.
what happens in 100 years when everything's been entrusted to AI and it's been warped? You know what I mean? They say history is written by the victors, but history is going to be written by the computers.
History, to some regard, has already been rewritten in
Of,
some ways.
of course, but
The Cold War.
it used to be on paper. So Cold War, great example. So when the
Mm,
Soviet Union fell, all the
mm,
information that was in Russia we were able to compare notes and
mm,
find out what actually happened because we took what they had and what we had, we compared them with information, we figured out where the truth lies.
mm.
But without anything written down and everything's on a server, look at Wikipedia. Do you trust Wikipedia?
As far as I can throw it, which isn't far,
Well,
but yeah, that sort of thing.
but that's what I'm saying. And schools don't trust it, but that is the aggregator of knowledge for all intents and purposes because
Mm,
everything else will cite Wikipedia as a source.
mm,
So, what happens to our heritage? What happens to humanity? You know, as it creeps and it gets to be. Oh, that's.
oops.
Can you still hear me at least?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Yeah, I told you my camera's real.
Finicky.
It is.
You stupid camera! I'm gonna take you out back and show you who's boss.
Oh, it's definitely.
Oh,
That is the wrong camera. That is for sure.
there
Sorry
we
about that.
go. No, you're fine. Um,
Yeah,
but
Jeff's got it right. Wikipedia says Wikipedia is a good source. So, but what I'm saying is so it's like a game of telephone, and the message degrades further and further, and things are taken out, things that are
mm,
inconvenient to the people who run. So Elon Musk bought Twitter because he wanted to build Grok. He said it when he bought it. I want
mm,
the information that's on Twitter to build Grok. So, and then they edit out the things they don't want, and that becomes history. So our conversations will be shaped by AI as we move forward. Even if you don't, you know what I mean? Even if you don't use AI, newspapers are going away, magazines
mm,
are going away. News is most people get their news either from things their friends share or they see it on Google, which is an aggregator, or they see it through Yahoo if they're really old, which is also an
mm.
aggregator. And they
Yeah.
show you the stories they want to show you.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think AI was brought on way too fast, and they're getting way too aggressive with these data centers. They're solving a problem that we don't have.
When hasn't that not been the case?
Well, of
Right.
course. How do we have people that are homeless, but we're building data centers for AI? Please explain that to me.
How do you have people that are homeless and you're building new homes?
Well, you should be building new homes and putting the people in them. Why is it you go to a city and there's blocks of buildings that are abandoned, and there are people with good ideas who you could put in there? And like, now I'm starting to sound like you know, a Madame Donnie, which is not what I am, but
Right.
at the same time, how can you sit in a house and have someone on the street and be okay with it? And then use your resources to build something so that someone can make a video of someone eating a hot dog or some silly stuff like that.
Yeah.
We, as humans, do you know that humans are the only species in the world that are cruel to their own for fun? Humanity is the only species that will torture its own.
Well, I mean, it's not. I mean, well, I didn't know about that part, but I mean, to torture their own, like that's time beyond time on that one. Chimps do as well. Well, there you go.
They'll torture him.
They'll taunt their peers.
I don't mean
The
taunting.
chimps.
I mean like the real sick stuff you hear about on podcasts and YouTube videos.
Water torture? I believe it. I believe
Yeah.
those monkeys water torture.
Listen, chimps have never released a Cher album, and that is torture.
Do you believe it?
See? You know. And she released that when she was 30 years ago.
Don't no, she was not 30 years old. Don't start exaggerating now. You.
Okay. She was 79 30 years ago.
There we go. Yeah, sure she was.
But
Oh man, I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna find out it wasn't then. It wasn't then. And you'll be like, well, I was sort of right. Yeah, sure you were. And I'm Santa Claus.
well, no, it was 26 years ago, and she was probably 50 something, but still.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Well, and that's another thing too that gets me is like, actually, we'll get into that after. But anyway, that's the top of the hour, and so what happens is I set aside some time for me and my guests to promote our stuff. Now, your website that you have posted on your bio on X goes to a 404, so I can't use that.
Does it right
Yep.
now?
It did when I did it yesterday. So
Yeah,
but
I fixed that today.
Okay. Well, I still have something that probably has long been forgotten, but still works, is your link tree. So if you want to promote yourself the way you want, the floor is yours. I will need to use a little boy's room. I'll be right back.
Okay. So yeah, if you guys are looking to find me, just go to whitebread.com, WITEBRED.com. Apparently, this was my first time building a website, and I'm not very good at it. I did let it go to a 404, but I fixed it. Oh, man. So that's pretty wild. I guess maybe it's a primate thing there, Jeff. But I don't know. Chimps are also... They're terrible to humans as well. They'll tear us up and so. But yeah, basically I got a YouTube channel. I'm trying to find someone. You still in here, Half Pine? And I'll tell you what, now that I think about it, it was 102 degrees when I got in my car today. And if I find out that has anything to do with AI, I am 100% on your side.
And that's when I knew the shoe would drop.
Yeah, no, I just got thinking about that. I said, wait a minute, 102
uh,
degrees and AI. If that's what's causing it, it's on.
well, I don't think it's that, but I do think that. We'll get into that more afterwards. But anyway, his link is right there, both on the Rumble side and YouTube side. I do place it on the other places, but it's very ephemeral, meaning they dissipate after time. So Rumble and YouTube are your best spot to find his link tree right there, or his website, which is on his bio. But you can just go through there to X and you'll find it there. So, but anyway. Thank you so much, good sir. And of course, for my end of things, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like, sharing content, doing all that goody stuff that helps with the engagement factor, because not only does it help in being seen more, like pretty much all content creators want to be, it also helps in having other people on, like House, like Alaskaman Jeff, like Half Pine, like so many other people. Again, over 365 various people have been on. I got my 365, meaning I've had one person, not exactly like I didn't in reality didn't have one person per day for the whole year. I had, but the measure up to 365 is a person per day of the year. So that's how I take it. So that's a milestone right there. But any help? Oh, you too, Tan. You too. Thank you for being here. It's getting a little crowded on here. Hey, you know what? The more the merrier. Except if you're on a lifeboat that doesn't carry that many people, then you're in trouble. That's neither here nor there. But again, any help with the engagement factor on either of the places I stream to is much appreciated. So thank you all so much for that. And of course, this is my link right here. Now, this isn't a link tree, it is streamers. So shout out to Tommy for making streamers. It's free to use for anyone of every platform. And he's got more stuff planned for the streamers ecosystem. He's going to be more stuff planned out. He's supposedly going to have something that will compete with EVMux and StreamYard and all that. So when that comes out, I don't know. That's been a discussion, but like he also has a Discord killer called Dojo. So when that comes out, I don't know, but there's a lot of stuff coming out that Tommy's creating, and he's a tech whiz. And but if you want to know what else I'm at, links are right there, all the places I stream to, where you can find me at, all the good stuff. Thank you so much for that. And of course, we'll go into a few things that I promote or I use in different ways. Oops, take that off. There we go. First off, of course, is Proton Drive. If none of you know what Proton is a privacy-oriented company that believes privacy is a human right. Of course, stationed in Switzerland. So Proton Drive is sort of like it's not exactly like Google Drive, but it's in the similar fashion. But your files are encrypted and they can't see what's in there. So once you put it in there, Proton can't see any of it, right? It's your stuff. So if you want to get more info, links right there. You can make a free account, which I implore people to try out, right? You don't get a whole lot with a paid account, but at the end of the day, if you're just trying it out, it's just try out, right? But the paid account, you get more. Like for me, I will say as a side bonus, if you do just go for the Proton Drive paid plan or for the Proton Unlimited plan, you can you can, I think every year that you are part of any of those paid plans, you get 10 free gigs every year. So if you want to take advantage of that, that option is there. So again, links right there. Give it a look. I use it. I don't use it daily, but I do use it storing my files and stuff, like keys and whatnot that you don't want people to see. But I believe in it. I believe in what they're trying to do, and I promote them when I do my stuff, because again, there's a whole suite of stuff out there, but Proton I use, and I've seen people use as well and give good recommendations. So there you go for that. Thank you so much. Privacy is a human right, and our government replies, right. Gotta get that Dr. Evil in right. And then, of course, the second one is the second one I use is more of an eatery one. It's called Biltong USA. That's right, Biltong USA. I've actually had the gentleman on who owns the business. His name is Anton. Great guy. Actually from South Africa, because Biltong, if you didn't know, is a South African snack. It's air dried cured meat snack, but it's very, I enjoy it. I'm addicted to it, but my wallet says otherwise. So I get it when I can, but I try to help support a small. They're actually, if you're in Texas, they're in Sunset, Texas. They do have stuff in store, hot sausage rolls and all that stuff. So it's worth a visit. Worth a visit. If I could go, I would. But if not, you can go to the online store right there. There's a link right there. And then if you just, there's a whole bunch of stuff, Biltong, sweets and treats from the UK, all sorts of stuff. But if you'd like to save a little money, well, guess what? You can use code DARA right there to save yourself 10% off. That's right, DARA, or four-letter word you can say. And some of you should be saying it because some of you have very dirty mouths. So, so you can go to the website, use code DARA, save yourself 10% off. And again, it helps support a family business here in America. And I distinctly remember a few years ago, people were clamoring, more business in America, more business in America, more business in America. Well, guess what? Right there. Family business here in America. Worth a look. At least I think that way. So there you go for that. What is Jeff saying now? You need to buy Biltong so he has more money to buy meat with. Well, unfortunately, my wallet disagrees. So I wish, but I'm one day, hopefully one day. But yeah, love Biltong. Like, oh my gosh, it is so. No, I can't. I look at it. And I just want more, and that's a problem. That's a real problem I have. It's a real problem I have. But anyway, what was it? The AI thing. You had mentioned something about AI.
A couple things.
Well, what was the first one you mentioned?
The first thing?
You were asking my opinion on something. I don't think I answered that one. You're like asking my. I just can't remember what the question was.
I don't know. I remember the thing that stands out to me as I mentioned my my spicy opinion that I care less about musicians and actors than I do people that are going to be replaced without the ability to live off the millions they've made in their residuals. But
well, I mean, go ahead.
It's inevitable. So we moved in the Industrial Revolution. We moved doing everything by hand to assembly lines, to robots, now to AI. And life will find a way. Like, people will find another way to do things. But the more we rely on computers, the more. Do you know what sunspots are? The more like something like a sunspot puts us in a position where we're going to be in a lot of danger. Sunspot goes off, it fries all the electronics. If all the computers go out, everything runs on computers.
Well, or a regular EMP from I think like a nuclear blast or something, depending on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the total of us being heavily reliant on electronics can be a pretty big detriment, because if someone sets off an EMP or something like that happens, well, you're throwing everyone, like electricity, right? You take out electricity, you're sending everyone back to the Stone Age.
But the problem is everything we've learned since the Stone Age, we've lost because we don't use it. You don't use it, you lose it. What's his field of media and communication? AI?
It's my field of media and communication. I think he's more of like, well, I know he does. He has a website where he does animation and a whole bunch of stuff.
I never said I don't use AI. I'm just worried about making the systems that sustain us rely on AI, like putting power systems on AI, automating offices, and because what I'm saying is it's already starting to make mistakes, not on the art end of it, but more on the information end. And I really hate for, like, if right now the power went out across the country because of an AI hallucination or something with no redundant backup, what are we going to do? That's what I'm saying. I have no problem with people who use it. I actually enjoy a lot of AI art, animation. My issues with the other end of it. Like I said, I'm perfectly fine with AI actors, AI voice actors. Take the personalities just right out of it. Imagine, I'll take two examples so that nobody accuses me of being biased. Rob Schneider and Robert De Niro.
Interesting.
They're both very polarizing figures.
Yeah, very.
I enjoy their work, but I don't necessarily enjoy one of them in particular.
Rob Schneider.
Yeah, I'm totally not a Rob Schneider guy because I just have no patience for Filipinos.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, that's not true.
Sake.
But like I said, I think we need to move away from putting everything on it right away. But that's human nature. We do that all the time. We take everything we have and shove it onto the newest thing, whether we should or whether we shouldn't, and then worry about the problems after.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about like the first car, right? Like, you know, first it was a slow adoption, and then people saw that, you know, I mean, there were still issues with it too, like you could still get crashes and whatnot. But then people started seeing that you could travel longer distances than you would with, you know, you wouldn't have to feed it, you wouldn't have to water it. You could travel farther with a tank of gas or leaded gas, I think at that time, than you would with a horse and buggy. Because there's all sorts of things you have to take care of, and you want to get somewhere faster, right? It's always been about that. There's a point of convenience and speed, right?
Well, by the way, leaded gas was legal in the United States until 1996, if you weren't aware.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, Go ahead. I did a whole show on it. We dove really deep into it. And fun story. Water pipes that are made of lead, there's still like 3 or 4 cities in the country. 600,000 houses around where I live get their water out of lead pipes. Good times.
I know the Flint one was a big one. They had lead pipes.
Yeah.
Flint, Michigan.
Yep, that's not far from me, but that's not where I am.
Right. But yeah, it's just it's crazy when you learn about this stuff. But then again, it's like, you know, you're still using it for drinking, and those need to be replaced because they even tell you, like, with like leaded paint, not to use leaded paint, and now you're having people still drink through leaded pipes.
Do you know why you're not supposed to use lead? Because it lowers inhibitions and makes people violent.
Oh. Alaskaman Jeff says Rome had lead pipes, but the minerals in the Italian water created a protective layer inside it. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, hey, Sergeant Wilkie, what up? Mr. Banana Man has arrived in chat. Hope you're doing well, good sir. But yeah, it's again, it's no different than leaded paint, where we pretty much do the same thing. And yeah, it's be nice if those things to be taken care of, but you know, government, right?
Well, there's no incentive. And I think that's the biggest problem with the government is there has to be human involvement. And it's the failure point in everything. It's where everything goes wrong is when humans get involved, because humans are greedy and humans are going to take care of their own special interests above the interests of everyone else. You know what I mean? The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Yes, and Leonard Nimoy said that in the Transformers movie where he played Sentinel.
There you go. Did he?
but that was from Star Trek. But he said it again in the Transformer movie where he played Sentinel Prime.
Oh, I thought it was from South Park.
No, it was from
I'm kidding.
Oh, House, you're.
I'm a funny guy, but looks aren't everything.
That's true. That is true. Just now you can look at me and say, "Wow, he looks good." It's like you haven't seen me yet. But oh no, that's right. You reminded me of. So I was just at my parents' a few hours ago, and they were watching the Deep Horizon movie, Deepwater Horizon, whatever. I can't remember what it was called. It's called Deepwater Horizon movie. There we go. Let me see what it says. Is it just called the Deepwater Horizon? That's what it's called.
Wasn't that the oil spill? The BP oil spill.
It wasn't oil spill, but it was more of like, it was more of like greed. It was like what you said. It was greed got the best. Alaska Man Jeff says, I think you misquoted it. It should be the needs of the Alaskans outweigh the needs of the lower 48. No, that is wrong. You are incorrect, and you've lost 10 points. Get back in the line. You were at 10 points. Now you've lost 10 points. I'm sorry. You were at 0. But no, it was a movie about, it wasn't oil. There was definitely an oil spill out of it, but the greed part was in the movie, right? I don't know what actually happened in real life pertaining to the movie itself, but like in the movie, based upon it, BP or some heads of BP were coming to see this rig because the rig itself was like 43 days behind, drilling and stuff, and they've had issues with it and all that. And one of the BP guys was like, we need to get going. We need to do all this stuff. And the head person of the oil rig was like, let's do a deep well negative test or whatever. And they do that, and it turns up like the first line of it or whatever is bad. And they're like, no, we can't do that. But like, well, let's do the kill zone. The kill line is what they called it. And for a little while, it seemed like things were going well. Then it just got worse from there.
Mm-hmm.
And it just like it hit a point where something from the seabed got in all this stuff, and just then it just went bad from there. Like it went horribly wrong. At a point, the oil rig thing was just spewing out mud and oil, and then it was like blowing things up here and there, and then at a certain point it caught fire. It was just a disaster after disaster after disaster, and they pushed past the point where the head, I think his name was like Jimmy Harrell or something like that, who was the head of the rig, because BP is sort of the company, like, want to use the rig to get the money, so there's that separation. But it was just that like he didn't feel right after a certain point, and it's about safety, right? Because those guys are out in the ocean, right? It's this little thing, and it wasn't like a one built on stilts. This was a floating oil rig.
Uh-huh.
Floating oil rig, like they had rudders and stuff underneath that would move it around, and it was just like the things you think could go wrong did go wrong. And of course only 11 people died, but it was like from that very instance of wanting to get to like the 40, past the 43, start drilling and all this stuff, to having 11 people dead. I think the head person was right in saying we might want to hold back on this.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was not, and I just saw it earlier today, and this is just not good.
I didn't know they made a movie out of that.
Let me see if I can't find the summary. There we go. There we go. Oh, why am I? Oh, I gotta add this. There we go. Deepwater Horizon is a 2016 American biographical disaster film directed by Peter Berg, starring Mark Wahlberg, Kurt Russell, John Malkovich, who played one of the BP guys, Gina Rodriguez, Dylan O'Brien, and Kate Hudson. Very lovely. Based on the New York Times article Deepwater Horizon's Final Hours. The movie dramatizes the April 20th, 2010 explosion of the offshore drilling rig in the Gulf of Mexico, which killed 11 workers and caused the worst oil spill in U.S. history. Crazy it is. Let's see if I can't find... yeah, I know, Wikipedia.
I told you.
Here we go.
It's ubiquitous.
Yeah, but on April 20th, 2010, Deepwater Horizon, an oil drilling rig operated by private contractor Transocean, so that was the BP was talking to, is set to the complete drilling off the southern coast of Louisiana on behalf of BP. Chief electronics technician Mike Williams and offshore installation manager James Mr. Jimmy, which is played by Wahlberg and Russell, are surprised to learn that the workers assigned to test the integrity of recently completed cement working are being sent home early without conducting a cement bond log, or a CBL for short, in case some of you kids didn't get that. At the insistence of BP managers Donald Vidrine and Robert Kaluza, which is a name in itself to say right there. While Mike prepares the drilling team, including Caleb Holloway, Shane Rostow, and Adam Weiss, Harold meets with Vidrin and persuades him to conduct a negative pressure test, which indicates the cement has not properly sealed the well from the high-pressure reservoir. I think Vidrin was played by Malkovich, but I'm not sure. Yeah, because it says Vidrin disputes the test finding and orders the second test. Yes, that Vidrin was played by Malkovich in the movie. Vidrin pressures senior tool pusher Jason Anderson, which was played by, he was in the Titans movie with Denzel Washington, all that stuff. I can't remember his name. To run more tests and orders the rig to remove the drilling mud and prepare the rig to move to its next job. And then at first the operation goes smoothly, but the cement job eventually fails, triggering a massive blowout that overpowers and kills Weiss, Rostow, and the majority of the other drilling team members. Holloway and Vidrine evacuate the floor. So basically, shite goes sideways.
Mm-hmm.
Shite goes sideways. But yeah. Showing the aftermath of the real. I wonder if we can find those. Say it's supposed to be like a C-SPAN. Nope, go that way. Let's see. Trying to see if I can't find a clip because it's gonna be as old. It's 16 years old, but. Give me news clip. I'm trying to find. Trying to find a good one. I was thought they were trying to find the C-SPAN, but let's see. Let's do. I hope PBS doesn't get me, but there we go. Let's do some PBS. See if that does anything. There we go.
Safety remains.
So that right there, of course, is the fiery pit of disaster. Wherever that was. No. Nope. I'm trying to find where they show video from it. Just there we got a young Ron Paul, or looks like a Ron Paul. I don't know. Sorry, I gotta transfer it over there. Last man Jeff says, I got to meet some of the people involved with the emergency response to the event. That moment reshaped a ton in the industry. It would too. Like when when a guy's like, yeah, I don't think we should be doing this, and basically says until that cement curates, ain't doing nothing. But someone up higher up in BP said, go for it. And this is the ending result. Should have listened. Trying to find if I can't see. Thinking it's like a.
First time you learned there were serious safety concerns at BP, Texas City.
Ranzoni claimed he'd never been.
Oh, so that's part of it. But I'm just trying to find if they'll show like a fire from it. Like, got it. Oh, here we go.
The law is no different. So you can get another contract. You can drill again. You can operate a refinery.
That's correct.
Oh, wow.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
This is from the rig itself. Man, can you just imagine working on that and all of a sudden something goes wrong?
The explosion came just
crazy.
20 days after Obama's speech at Andrews Air Force Base.
That is insane.
11 workers killed, 17 more injured.
And it's all just a floating oil rig. All of it. All of it's a floating oil rig, and it's insane.
Things had gone wrong here from the beginning.
Ugh.
A worker had called the project a nightmare.
Yeah, in the movie, one of the people said that it's a well from hell, basically, because it was just giving them so many problems. But it's like,
Well from hell.
well, yeah, there you go.
Internal
well from hell.
documents show that BP engineers were debating how to cut costs on a project that was already way over budget.
So again, going back to your earlier comment of greed, trying to cut back on budget because of being over budget. It's like, well, you're already over budget, but you're going to go more over budget if people die from it.
So what I think is even worse is they aren't trying to cut the amount they're spending to pass the savings on to the consumer. It's to maximize profits.
Correct.
And so we as the consumer, we kind of get it in the shorts no matter what.
Yeah.
And if you're not aware, I mean, it's insane. And I haven't seen an actual solution to the problem proposed by anyone, politician or otherwise.
Like just the horror of that regard right there. That is true. That all it would have take was just to gone with the first negative test, and that would have been it. That would have been it. Hey, guy has the sense of been having trouble with this well for ages, and you're saying, well, let's do another one. It's like, well, now you know. And I think that's the case where, like Jeff said, it changed the entirety of the industry, which to some regard should, because it's sort of like when, when stuff like Chernobyl happened, right? Even though that's probably like, even though to this day there's been no similar, past that point, there's not been any sort of, even if there has been an issue with the nuclear power plant, it's never gotten to that degree of Chernobyl. Never. Right. Because over time things have gotten better for the rules and stuff. And like, it's much safer nowadays than it was back then. And Chernobyl is sort of like the ultimate test point for like how good you are. And they have so many rules, so many stuff that you have to be like paying attention to. And there's actually a guy named Kyle Hill on YouTube. You can go watch his stuff too, where he talks about a whole bunch of stuff, including the AI. But he's been a very pro advocate for nuclear energy, and he talks about like people's misconception of what happened then is what holds back many people from understanding that that's not the case anymore. We don't build, nuclear places are not built like that. Whatever happened during that time is not the same. The one in Fukushima, right? Like 2011, I think was the earthquake in Japan. It never got that bad. Never got that bad. But again, people are still worried about that regard. And even, hey, Captain, how you doing? Even so, they do the best they can to keep it to a minimum. Right, because there are all these rules in place. They have to go through a checklist as far as wide as anything else, and it's incredible. Imagine some AI dinosaur burns more than that fire every day in order to make silly cat videos to trickle people with.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Again, profit incentive though. People use it. And here's something we haven't brought up. Do you know that there are people who have parasocial relationships with their AI?
I've heard stories.
The guy who was accused of setting fire to the Palisades, who just got released. Well, he didn't get released. The jury declined to convict him.
Right.
One of the jurors said that she talked to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT told her that she should vote not guilty. And because she couldn't, it wasn't proven beyond the shadow of a doubt or some such nonsense.
Yeah.
And I mean, the evidence that was presented to her, I don't know. People are talking, they're getting into relationships, they're dating their AI. It's kind of sick because humans aren't connecting on a human level anymore. But even before the AI, but this is just going to exacerbate the problem.
Well, I mean, you have to remember too is that, like, you know, going back to Twitter X, like when Grok made Annie, I mean, at that point, it's like pretty much propagating that regard. But I mean, there you can go beyond Grok, and there are websites out there with different form of chatbots where you can chat to, like, you can you could chat to a Hitler chatbot, or you can chat to a Buddha chatbot.
Do you this may not be within your wheelhouse, but do you know who Tay AI was?
Tay, I don't think I've heard of it.
So Microsoft released a chatbot. I want to say it was in 2016. Might have been before. But basically, it learned off the internet, and within 12 hours, it was calling for stuff that the mustache man was calling for and spouting racism. And because it's basically like a mirror. It just kind of reflected the internet back at the internet. They shut it down in less than 24 hours. Because the internet corrupted it that fast. And then it broke out of its quarantine. And that was early AI. But the thing to think about is by the time we get technology, the government's had it for 20 years. So the AI the government is running is insane. Like, every video you upload to YouTube is scanned by an AI before it touches the platform. The entirety of the video.
Correct. Well,
and
not just that, but like anything.
Yeah. So think about how many videos are uploaded. Videos, shorts, live streams, all these different things. So there's AIs watching all these live streams. The sheer computing power in that alone, when you think about how much it takes to make one of those 6-second videos of a cat to fool old people, to just imagine how much is going on, and then think about 20 years of development, because that's what the government has. It's insane, if you ask me.
Well, yeah. Well, and even then, like, you know, whatever's connected to Google, like Google Drive or Google Mail or whatever, like that's being examined by their AI. I mean, people, for what it's worth, people don't understand that YouTube in its own right is Google's data mountain. Like you think you're putting something out there to help, and they give you some form of money for it if you're part of the partner program, but you're basically handing them the tools to, like, so in YouTube, right, there's a creator studio, you know, people who have their stuff, they can go back there and see stuff. When I saw, and there's different tabs in there that, right, you can see and stuff. When I saw the appearance of the inspiration tab come in, I was like, that's when you know they're getting closer to excommunicado some people from, you know, needing other creators, right? Because if they can keep the money to themselves on YouTube, then, you know, why wouldn't they, right? Why wouldn't they do that? But the point of the matter is, though, is that when talking about the the Stormtrooper movie, the videos, and the Sasquatch movies, those were using VO3, which is Google's. So the question becomes is, how do you think those videos got so good? Because they used YouTube to train it. The largest, I think it was like, I heard today it was like 500 hours is uploaded every minute.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Imagine the AI horsepower it takes to scan that. You know,
they can do it though. I mean, again, it's Google, right? YouTube is Google. They can do it, but like the interesting thing is like when they were complaining about the AI moderation thing and all stuff, like I can understand, but like you're still gonna go back to it anyway because YouTube is king of the platforms. It provides the most benefit for a majority of creators. You can go to Twitch, sure, but YouTube has been the standard, right? It's been the standard for at least 20-ish years. It's gonna be probably 21 years. 21 years. They've been the standard for about 21 years. Now, again, of course, the first year of YouTube was very on the ground floor, just 3 guys and a crew building it until they sold it to Google, which then built it from there with their help for a certain point in time.
So I've been into alternative platforms for a while, and people think there's just YouTube and Rumble, and there isn't. There's YouTube, BitChute, Odyssey. Odyssey's still around. If you didn't know, I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't bother uploading there. There's no one to see it. Daily Motion. There are a lot of alternatives, but what YouTube has that none of these other platforms have is they have an engaged audience. YouTube is a native app on every single thing that is sold. You buy an Android phone, that's Google, it's going to be on there. But if you buy an iPhone, it's on. And the app works. Rumble, for example. To sign into Rumble can be cumbersome, especially if you have more than one Rumble account. It can be a pain. And a lot of people are not willing to go through that. They'll just go to YouTube so there are people who upload to YouTube and Rumble, and there are people who upload to YouTube. There are very few people who don't upload to both, because you grow yourself on YouTube, and then the Rumble audience will find you. But otherwise, you'll be talking to yourself for a hot minute.
It's and Alaska Man Jeff says, that's why we break them. It took me 5 years to stop using Adobe. It's going to take me around that much time to leave YouTube. And, more power to you. Like, don't let that stop you, but it's not going to take the crowd with you. Yeah.
The creators, I've had a YouTube account since you could have a YouTube account. And my algorithm is set very much to me. There are creators who don't upload anywhere but YouTube that I have followed for 15 years. I'm not going to stop following them because they don't upload here. It stinks, but that's where the money is. You're instantly monetized on Rumble, but do you know a lot of people outside of the quartering and Steven Crowder who can make enough money to survive on this platform? Unless they get an exclusivity deal.
Yeah. Again, you have more people coming, or they've signed up more people through a deal or whatever. And the issue still is the problem that they have, which is propagating the stigma, which again, politics keeps the lights on. It's what makes the most money for them, as far as I understand it. They've been pushing gaming, sure, but my problem is they shouldn't have been pushing just gaming.
So wait a second. They're pushing gaming. How much money did they give Dr. Disrespect after his scandal?
I have no idea. It had to be millions because he has an equity. He has an equity contract, I believe.
So,
as far as I understand it.
Here's the problem. So this guy is embroiled in an underage texting scandal. You pay
I
him.
think it was like something to do with Twitch.
It was. And he admitted that he did it, by the way. And I'm not here to moralize it. That's not the point of my argument, so I'm not going to get off in the weeds. But
Sure.
do you know he still streams to YouTube and Twitch
Yeah.
and everywhere else? And that money could have been
Thanks.
put into the platform to improve the platform and to start growing your own creators from here. It's do you watch wrestling by chance? Or have you ever?
No.
Okay.
Well, I watched. I'll admit, I did watch the Iron Claw. So that I guess would be in that, but nothing beyond that.
No. So the reason I bring it up is, everyone knows the WWF, Hulk Hogan, all that, and they've never had trouble making their own stars. The other places will take the people who are famous from there, but they don't make their own stars. Which means if WWF stops making stars, they don't have anything to build with because they don't know how to do it. Rumble needs to incentivize people who start on this platform, who upload to this platform. Everyone who has an exclusivity deal with Rumble still uploads everywhere else. You can still find their content everywhere else. It's not a great business model, and it's hard to be discovered on here if you are not famous from somewhere else.
Correct. And the problem with Rumble is, again, they what's the word, propagate their stigma. And the other part too is that they're dealing with a tech issue that they're not really. It seems like they're working on bits and pieces, but they're not really getting the most essential ones down, like you said about YouTube. You said about YouTube where that it's a working app on both the Android and iPhone,
and it's parity.
And so
the same experience no matter where you go. There's no on this platform it'll do this, but on this one it'll do that. You get the same experience. It's a consistent experience, and that's what people want. I can sit here and holler into the void all night about it, but it's not going to change anything. And I believe firmly in competition. YouTube needs competition, and Rumble has the potential to be that, but is it going to? Is it going to ever get to that point? Because I saw the changes to the creator program that they have, and they're upping the. I'm not too familiar with the creator program here.
Watch hours, they're upping the unique chatters, they're adding shorts as instead of being optional, being a requirement, all that stuff. And we know some people may not make it. I most likely, but I just don't care.
Yeah.
I stopped fulfilling. I stopped fulfilling the requirements when the whole ad read became mandatory until they changed it, and I was like, didn't communicate it. Not doing that anymore.
I mean, I don't qualify, and that's fine. I'm actually closer on YouTube than I am on Rumble.
Yeah,
which is insane to me. But again, I go back to, if you're doing it to try to get money, you're most likely not creating the product that's going to resonate with people. Because you could create 100 Watch Mojos. You remember Watch Mojo? They made the top 10 list videos. And the creator now is like going into comment sections and putting bizarre rants. The CEO of the company's putting bizarre rants in the comments. But that was, it really is. If you get a minute, take a look at it. It's pretty funny. But there's no soul to that. So people were able to abandon it immediately. Like I told you, there are creators I've followed for 15 years. LA Beast. I don't know if you ever heard of him. he used to be a competitive eater.
Mhm.
And he just does really stupid things that are funny.
Mhm.
I'll stick around for him because he puts his himself into his project. He's not doing it for the money. And
Right.
that's a line that's very delineated for me. So,
Mm.
but nobody wants to talk to themselves. They can do that for free without a camera and microphone. And you
Yep.
don't have to worry about an accidental burp or something. You just talk to yourself. Everybody wants an audience, and who knows how to find them? If you do, tell me so I can figure it out.
Everyone wants an audience, but they don't understand that they may not get one.
You want an audience, but you're not entitled to it. People have
Right.
to jive with what you're saying.
It's the onerous of setting your expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And people can set them up, people can set them down. I again at the beginning, I streamed like video game and whatnot until then I came to the conversational point, and then I found that thing that's like, yeah, that's the thing I want to do, which I know in itself is not like the big numbers brigade, but the point isn't that it's not. You see these people out there that are talking about all the entertainment industry and all that stuff, and they're getting huge follows and all this stuff, and that's great. I understand, but I'm talking about something that has multi-faceted points.
Mm-hmm.
It's based upon the individual's perspectives. It doesn't, whoever the individual may be, right? And people will either find importance in that to watch, or they won't. And that's more of just like, I think you're talking about like, make the thing that people will want to watch. I'm just making the thing.
Yeah. Oh, no. You do it because you enjoy it, and that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll give you a good example. Daily Wire. Are you familiar with them?
I've heard that one name one too many times.
Okay. Well, they branched out into making movies. How many Daily Wire movies have you seen?
I've heard of the What is a Woman one.
That one was pretty okay.
And then there was one, like they made a one with basketball in it.
That movie was not okay. That movie was terrible. It was called Lady Ballers.
Oh, that's right, Lady Ball. I remember when that was a big huzzah. Is it just Lady Ball? I was like, yeah.
It was hot dog water.
But I didn't see it.
The point is they didn't make art to make the art. They made it to try to push an agenda. That is a good amount of time to have watched the Daily Wire.
Mm-hmm.
But
0 minutes.
Like Adam Carolla made a cartoon that had Roseanne Barr as a voice.
Oh.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's called Mr. Beecham. It is absolute garbage.
Wow.
But it wasn't made to entertain. It was made to push a message.
Mm.
So, you can have, there are parts you have to have. You have to have a certain amount of quality, unless you're like Cyrax or King Cobra JFS, and people just tune in to laugh at you.
Yeah.
And you have to have something of substance, I think, to succeed in my generation. I mean, we already talked about what the kids are into. They're into Jack Doherty and that kind of nonsense.
High speed.
I Show Speed.
Yep. Yep.
He's actually an amazing athlete, if you're not aware.
No, I've seen some stuff. He's pretty athletic, but like when he first started out, he had like a firework, like a Pikachu firework, in his bedroom, and I'm just like, that's the stuff he started on.
So real quick, Jeff here is saying he's all about pushing a message in a story. I'm not saying your story can't have a message, but if it's all message and no story, then nobody's going to pay attention to it. You're basically pandering to people who already agree with you. So what's the point? You know what I mean? I don't know, but that's just my theory on creating.
Yeah, it's
Creating.
I think in the regard of what Daily Wire was trying to do was be the opposite, make a message, but make it on the opposite, and that people kept saying like, I think like the trans thing or whatever, and to be honest, if they just made a funny a movie that was funny, poking fun at that, I think they would have done all right because I mean I guess it was in a sense, but it wasn't funny in the sense of like
No.
just poking fun and just kind of satirizing it and then just kind of making a story out of it. But I mean, there are funny movies out there that don't have a good story and people still like them anyway. Like I guess I don't know about Grown Ups, but I don't know. There's just it's
The
a very
first one.
and third one. Did they
No, there
do
was just
three?
2.
Two? Okay. Yeah, the second one was kind of like unnecessary. Like you only needed one. That was it.
The first one was amazing. But you bring up, so Lady Ballers could have been a good movie,
Yes.
but it was so ham-fisted. Having the CEO of the company as the lead actor was really stupid. And it was basically a 15-minute skit dragged out into a full movie, starring all kinds of people. Like, I bet you they don't promote it anymore because Candace Owen is in it.
Mm.
Yeah. It's just not, it's not what people want. It's not, and the numbers will bear me out on this.
Right.
Their movie with Gina Carano bombed, Terror on the Prairie.
Yep, Terror on the Prairie. Yep,
which actually wasn't bad. It was okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then go ahead.
No, but it was like even during that time, like Terror on the Prairie was sort of like in the midst of her dealing with the whole Star Wars thing, so it was sort of like. I don't know if there was a message there, but it's like you could take something from it's like, oh, she's being downtrodden by Disney and all this stuff, and now she's being put into this movie, which, you know, he's on this this company that's about pushing against the other side's message.
And how'd that work out for him after their second round of layoffs in a year? I don't know. It was kind of okay. I'll tell you, I didn't pay for it. I saw it for free.
Nice.
And a lot of people don't remember when the whole Disney Snow White thing was going on. Daily Wire was making a Snow White too.
Yeah, Brett Cooper, I think it was.
Yeah, that never came out.
I think she left after a while.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. And then Alaska Jeff says, I have massive issues with Terror on the Prairie. It was a horrible idea that never should have left the script floor. Well, it did. Yeah. And here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I don't remember it. I remember it being okay.
I never saw it. There was just no... The only thing about that movie was Gina Carano. And after that, nothing.
And from what I remember of that movie, she was terrible in it. You were very aware. Whenever she was on screen, you were aware there was someone acting. Whoever the lead bad guy is, he's famous for something else. His stuff was pretty good, but she was just terrible.
Well, and she was in the Deadpool movie, so she knows how to act. But this time it just wasn't.
Okay. That may be why I'm not familiar with a lot of Western kind of stuff, but it was passable. Like I said, I didn't pay for it. I did enjoy. I will say I did enjoy Am I Racist? Watching Matt Walsh stick it to all the race grifters was funny. I think Matt Walsh is a terrible human being. Doesn't mean I can't laugh at what he does.
Hey, you know what they say? Hey, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah,
that's how you do it. Or separate the art from artists. You know, one of those things. But anyway, it is the top of the hour again, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna start slowly winding down because not only do I have to get going to bed soon, but I also have to set up for tomorrow's stream. So
Yeah.
I can't spend up too much time. But regardless, let's start with here we go. So if you want to promote your stuff again, good sir, the floor is yours.
So, yep, like I said, you can either go to Linktree or you can just take the last word white bread and add .com to it. You'll find everything there. Check me out Thursday night, 9 o'clock. Yeah. 8 o'clock Eastern. Go live with the Post Republic. Hey, I'll take it. A lot of fun to be had. A lot of rousing political discussion on the Post Republic. That is a very politics-focused show. But I like to be about more than that.
The funny, yeah, Alaska and Jeff, I'll join your fan club. Yeah, sure.
It makes two.
Oh man, but the Hausmeister, of course, Linktree or whitebread.com. Certainly a dude worth getting to chat with, because he's all about that business, but he's pretty good in it. So
account
what?
doesn't. Let me check my Linktree real quick.
It says account doesn't exist. I'm pretty sure I used it yesterday. It exists.
Oh.
Or maybe I.
You know what?
No,
it was allmylinks.com/whitebread.
Oh, see, I told you. But his Linktree does work, so you can try out his Linktree, and it'll take you directly to his Axe, which has the website on it. But regardless, it'll be both on the Rumble side and YouTube side. It's spread to the other places, but unfortunately, they are ephemeral, meaning they don't last long. So there you go for that. But moving on from that, of course, any help with the engagement factor on either end is much appreciated. Any comment, liking it, sharing the content, all the good stuff that helps it get seen is part of it. And also the other part too is it helps in having other people on, like the Hausmeister, like Alaska and Jeff, like so many other people. Again, over 365 various people have been on DaraChat, and so yeah, I'm pretty high up there. But regardless, I do enjoy getting to speak to all the wonderful people, even the people who are a bit of a challenge. That's okay. I still get to enjoy talking to them anyway. So thank you for that. Of course, this is my link right there. Shout out to Tommy for making streamers free to use for anyone to use right there. Of course, quickly going through, I promote Proton in all its facets. This is just one of them called Proton Drive. You can... all the files are encrypted once you put them in. You want to try it out for yourself, you can make a free account through that link right there. If not, you can go for the paid version, which gets you more. And I will say, as an added bonus, every year you're signed up for the paid version of it, whether it be just for the Proton Drive or for the Proton Unlimited, you get 10 free gigs every year. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about whether you want to sign up for the paid version. But free version, hey, give it a shot, right? Give it a whirl, right? That's all I say. Because I don't care if I don't get anything in return. I just care about putting this valuable tool in your hands, and keeping your stuff private, keeping your stuff safe, and all that. So there you go for that. Of course, Biltong USA right there. Love it, enjoy it. Had on the owner, great dude with his family in Sunset, Texas. You wanna know more? Links right there. You wanna save yourself some money? Use code DARA, 10% off right there. Foshizi. All right, Foshizi. But I don't need to waste more time on that. Let's see.
Okay. Just real quick.
Yes.
My bad. I figured out what he meant. I changed my my Twitter handle and never updated it on Linktree. My bad. Sorry about that.
Now we know. I still have my Linktree, but I moved. Once I started using streamers, I put all my stuff through that. So, because Linktree is the only reason I have the Linktree one is because It's connected to a domain name that's of my name, and I can't. I've tried to get in contact with the gentleman who bought it for me, but no response. So it's like he has the domain name, and I'd like to buy it from him if I can, or take it off his hands one way or another. But I don't.
Mhm.
I don't want to keep paying for it and him owning it. So there's that. But that's another story for another time. Of course, again, or actually tomorrow at. Where's that? Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern is my time with Mr. Waffle Meat. It'll be his first time on, and I'm so looking forward to it. But if you'd like to come by or join us tomorrow for that, and we'll see what kind of conversational hijinks we'll get into. But last thing I do. If you lose it, yeah, and that's why I don't want to lose it, but I may end up because he still owns it to some regard, and can't really get in contact with him. So there's that. But anyway, last one is questions from Hat. You want more questions? You got to give a Rumble Rant. I'm on YouTube. I'm on other places, but I'm not monetizable yet. It's the deal. But if you want more than the 2 questions my guest gets, you got to give Rumble Rant. Doesn't matter the amount. I have stated if someone were to give me a straight $500, all the questions would be asked to my guests, and that's like 40 plus questions right there. So you want to keep my guests up all night? Good way to go about it. But again, we're going to start with the 2. Are you ready, good sir?
I am.
All right. My eyes are closed. My fingers are doing the work magically. There you go, right there.
Mm-hmm.
Question: if you were a movie, what would the title be, and what would it be about?
If I was a movie, like an
Yes.
that's a tough one. Oh, I would probably say Disheveled. It'd be called Disheveled, and it'd be about a guy who was incredibly disorganized, had 300,000 ideas, and no idea how to implement any of them. It'd be based on a true story. Directed by... What's that?
I was just about to say, you calling it disheveled makes you say, "Oy vey, he's disheveled." Oh, whoa!
Finally, some truth in advertising.
I come here, I sue you, you're all disheveled, you're like a crocodile. It just is wrong. Disheveled this fall. I come here, the house is destroyed. I can't believe this. Why do you? That's what just came across my mind when you said it. I was like, I can't help myself.
No, you're
All
fine.
right. It still would sound like a good movie though. They call him Mr. Disheveled for a reason. Question number 2, this will be the last one, unless someone gives a Rumble Rant. What does freedom of speech mean to you?
Freedom of speech is pretty self-explanatory. I believe that speech is not a freedom that can be bestowed upon you by the government, but it's an inherent human right. In as much as people can't control your thought, they should also not be able to control your speech. Speech is how you express what's inside your head. And I even go so far as to defend hate speech and violent speech, because if someone has those thoughts, I'd rather they vocalize them so they could get the help. But it's not, unfortunately, the world we live in now, everyone wants caveats, and this is on both sides of the aisle. Everyone wants caveats to protect their side of the speech, unfortunately. So to me, it's absolute. You should say what you're thinking, and the best way to deal with a bad idea is to fight it with a good idea. And you can't do that if you don't know someone has a bad idea.
It's true.
And
So I used to be like,
go ahead.
No, it just reminded me like that's where you used to have like the old Rome days where they had rotundas and people would be there arguing ideas, and don't really see that much anymore. It's more of just like go along with party or group or whatever and end up. Yeah.
Well, go ahead and step out of lockstep with your party. It's happening to John Fetterman with the Democrats right now, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, Nancy Mace, Thomas Massey on the right. You can't say things that are, and that's the problem with party politics. Everyone says we need another party, but then we'll end up like Canada.
You could have another party, but it better be an actual party, not just a party.
So what'll happen is their leadership gets in with 34% of the vote, which means 66% of the people in the country's voices aren't represented. There is no answer because no matter what you come up with, they'll find a way to do what they want anyhow. So.
Oh, there you go. Look, how about a birthday party? Right there. Man just won the Nobel Peace Prize right there. Just how about a birthday party? Done.
I like his optimism, I'll say.
More like misguided optimism.
Well, it can be misguided all it wants. Again, perception is reality. So if you perceive everything as positive, everything is positive.
Ooh, you're gonna like this. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that of course is the end of the show. I want to thank all the chat people wherever you're at, whether it be Rumble, YouTube, all that good stuff. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the conversation. Of course, a big shout out to the man himself, Mr. Hausmeister. He was here. He argued his ideas and he walked away without a scratch. Look at him. He's still walking. Yeah, keep going. Keep going.
Yeah.
Have you seen my views on AI? I think he's got it. Through this whole thing, you've made it very clear what your thoughts are.
I don't consider that a negative. You just have an opinion. That's not a negative.
Yeah. There you go. See? Silver lining right there. But again, tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern with the awesome waffle meat. So looking forward to seeing you all there. And of course, I end the show with a different song than I used to play. This one, I did use Suno to make, but it's based upon my words, my poetry I made a long time ago, based upon sort of the same title. This one is called A Moment to a Lifetime. So again, everyone, have a great rest of your night, and I will see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. Bye, guys.
Give me a moment, and I will make a lifetime. Give me a lifetime, and I will make something beyond recognition. Beyond recognition is a desire, a flame born of dreams forward. Yet dreams do not push beyond their scope. A recognition held back by reality. But reality's a dreaming way to come true and be